Who actually won Game 2 of the NBA Finals for New York? Everyone says Brunson or the defense on the last play, but the real answer is sitting on the bench. In a game decided by a single point, the difference wasn't the stars who basically canceled each other out. It was the role players, and one of them in particular. Final 105-104, 1 point. When a finals game is that close, you don't look at who scored the most. You look at where the edge came from. The 8 or 10 points one team found that the other couldn't match. In Game 2, that edge came almost entirely off New York's bench. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we dig in, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps, so click it. Meet the man who quietly swung it, Landry Shamet. 13 points off the bench on 3 made threes in an NBA Finals game. Shamet isn't an all-star, he isn't a name on the marquee, but in a 1-point game, he outscored most of the starters in impact. When New York needed instant offense to answer San Antonio, he was the spark plug who provided it. Here's every shot Shamet took. 12 attempts, 5 makes, and crucially, 3 of 7 from deep. Watch where the makes glow. Out past the arc, the exact shots that stretch a defense and crack a game open. He wasn't efficient on the twos, but the threes, the ones that mattered, fell. And the timing was everything. 2 of his biggest threes came in the fourth quarter, a deep one early to push the lead, and another a few minutes later that quieted the San Antonio crowd. Those are the shots that turn a nervous 1-point game into a manageable one. A bench guy, on the road, in the finals, hitting daggers. And Shamet wasn't the only reserve who mattered. Mitchell Robinson gave New York 7 points of pure energy, rim running, offensive rebounds, and most importantly, minutes as a big body on Wembanyama. The local headlines literally credited the Knicks bench for slowing San Antonio's star. That's the hidden value of depth. A coach can throw fresh, specialized defenders at a superstar without sacrificing anything on offense. Now zoom out, because Shamet wasn't alone. This was a bench rout. Add up the reserves. New York's bench poured in 27 points. San Antonio's managed 19. That's an 8-point edge from the second units. In a game New York won by 1. The bench margin alone was 8 times the final margin. Read that again. The reserves outscored the gap many times over. Go deeper than the total. New York's bench hit 4 threes to San Antonio's 0. 4 different reserves scored for the Knicks. The Spurs had essentially won. The Knicks didn't just win the bench battle on points. They won it on spacing and on depth. The 2 things that quietly decide tight games. And here's why that matters so much. The starters mostly traded blows. Towns and Wembanyama, Brunson and Fox. The headliners roughly canceled out across the box score. So when the marquee names neutralize each other, the game tips to whoever's bench blinks first. San Antonio's blinked. New York's drained threes. Quick interruption, because San Antonio's side of this is a real problem. Hit subscribe if you're enjoying this. I'm not going to beg, but I am going to ask, so hit it and I'll wait. Because San Antonio's bench is dangerously thin. Strip out rookie Dylan Harper's 15 and look at the rest of the San Antonio bench. Keldon Johnson, 3. Luke Cornett, 1. Harrison Barnes, nothing. Carter Bryant, nothing. Outside of 1 rookie, the Spurs got 4 points from their entire second unit. That is not a rotation. That is a star, a kid, and a cliff. New York can rest a starter and keep humming because the next man off the bench can shoot. San Antonio rests a starter and the offense falls off a ledge. Over a single game, that's a nuisance. Over a 7-game series where legs get heavy and minutes pile up, a depth gap like this becomes a tax that compounds every night. And the tax compounds. In a long series, your stars are going to play heavy minutes, and they're going to get tired. The team that can give its starters real rest without the lead evaporating is the team with fresh legs in the fourth quarter of Game 6. New York can do that. San Antonio, right now, cannot. Every minute Wembanyama or Fox sits is a minute the Spurs are holding their breath. It also changes how aggressive a coach can be. With a deep bench, New York can trap, switch, and foul without fear because the next man up is capable. Miles McBride's gritty minutes, Jose Alvarado's pestering defense, it all adds up to a team that never has to play scared of its own rotations. Depth isn't just points, it's freedom. So why does a bench battle decide a championship? Because stars are a wash at this level. Both teams have them. Both will get their numbers. The series gets decided in the minutes the stars sit, and in the open threes, the role players either make or miss. New York has more of those players, and tonight they made more of those shots. That is a structural edge, not a one-night fluke. So here's the whole game in one number. 27 bench points for New York in a 1-point win. The headliners will keep trading haymakers all series. The Knicks are quietly winning the undercard, and the undercard is where 1-point games are actually decided. So credit the names you didn't expect. Shamet's shooting, Mitchell Robinson's rim running and offensive boards, Miles McBride's tough minutes. None of them will headline a recap. All of them, stacked together, were the 8 points that won an NBA Finals game New York had no business losing. So I'll leave it with you. Can San Antonio fix a depth problem in the middle of the finals? Or does New York's bench quietly decide this entire series? I think the role players are the story nobody's telling. Tell me what you think down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.